So tell me, what do you think Homer Simpson and James Bond have in common? Bet you never thought about that one. Here it is. What is it? The puffer fish. What an interesting fish this is. It contains one of the most deadly toxins called tetrodotoxin. Why is it called a puffer fish? Because it blows itself up to expose these spikes with which it can bother its predators and inject tetrodotoxin so that that predator learns not to mess with this fish again. But apparently, the fish is delicious to eat. But in order to eat it, you have to know how to properly eviscerate it, how to remove all the toxic parts. If not, it's deadly. Well, the dish that is made from the puffer fish, mostly in Japan, is called fugu. And that brings us to Homer Simpson. Homer was in a restaurant where the chef was engaged in some, let's say, side action with some lady behind the restaurant, leaving the front of the restaurant in the hands of a sous chef who was not particularly adept at preparing the puffer fish. And he didn't manage to eviscerate it properly. So Homer got a dose of tetrodotoxin. He was told after that he only had 24 hours to live. So he went through all the 5 stages of grief, etc. But luckily he survived, as some people do. These days the chefs are very well trained in Japan, so this is not likely to happen. But in rare cases it still happens when people try to do this at home. What does this have to do with James Bond? In From Russia with Love, which was the second James Bond movie starring Sean Connery, who of course was James Bond. All the others were actors playing the role of James Bond. But you may remember the classic scene in there when he has a fight with a Russian agent and all of a sudden she starts kicking at him. And here's the shoe. This is the one that was used in the movie. And you see that there's a spike that can eject out from it. That spike was tainted with tetrodotoxin. Well, in the film, she never managed to kick him. He kind of warded her off. In the book, Ian Fleming's From Russia Love, though, indeed, James Bond gets kicked. And the tetrodotoxin goes into his bloodstream and he passes out. But luckily, there's a physician standing by who diagnoses him as having curare poisoning and starts artificial respiration and starts treatment with a drug against curare poisoning. But here Ian Fleming got the science wrong. Why? Because curare poisoning, curare comes from a vine in South America, which indeed has a poison that is used in arrows, poison arrows, but the antidote for that would have nothing to do with tetrodotoxin. This is a totally different kind of poison. So Ian Fleming got that wrong. But we had to wait until the next book, which was Dr. No. In the movies, it was Dr. No before Russia with Love. The novels were the other way around. We had to wait until Dr. No to find out that James actually lived through the tetrodotoxin episode. The poison appears yet in another movie, Octopussy, which is another James Bond movie, and there they talk about an octopus, the blue-ringed octopus, which also contains tetrodotoxin. And you don't want to have an interaction with that octopus, as a criminal found out when that octopus latched onto his face. Death by octopus. So now you know the story that links Homer Simpson and James Bond.